Hey out there, boys and girls, how we doing? Happy Wednesday. It's Doc and Mav with ReadySetCrypto. How we doing out there? Welcome aboard. Good to see everybody out there. Go ahead and hit the like button, get things going. That'll defeat the algorithm and let everybody else know that we're getting started here. We'll get going here in just a minute. We want to see where everybody's coming in from. If you get a chance, go ahead and say hello and see what's going on, and let us know where you're coming in from. It's always interesting to see where people are accessing our little live stream from. Hey, Seb, good to see you every week. This is going to be the last one for the year. So we're going to see you guys again in 2022, and we're hoping that 2022 is going to be a big breakout year. 21 was actually a very positive year. So after going through 2020, we had a late year rally, and then 2021 is just built upon that rally. Hey, everybody. All right, so we got Nicholas coming in from Venice Beach. We have Scott's Garage. I haven't heard of Scott's Garage for a long time. Long Beach, California. How we doing out there? Good to see everybody. Macedonia. Mav, what do you got out there?
I don't know. Let's see, we got the Philippines. All right. I'm craving some Jollibee right now. Ireland. All right.
We have Ireland checking in. Fantastic. John from Atlanta. Actually, I'll be driving through there on Friday, so I'll wave as I go by. If I can, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to get through the city or not, but Ashva, Mar-a-Lago, fantastic. That's great. We're all going to come up with unique and farcical places that we live from. All right, Jack, thanks for checking in. Yeah, good luck with the traffic. I used to live out there a long time ago, and it hasn't got any better. We left just before the Olympics.
Nice. Got a good crowd today.
Yeah. Hey, Coob, how we doing out there?
Cool.
All right, everybody. Yeah, let us welcome aboard. Good to see everybody. Let us know where you're coming in from. We are Doc and Mav of ReadySetCrypto. This is a little live session that we do every week or so. And the way that this works is Mav's got something unique to share with you guys about what's happening in the coins. Usually it's in the thumbnail for the video. And then what happens after that is that the session descends into utter chaos as I go through a little bit of charting, and I look at the coins that you guys write in about. So be happy to, if you guys want to start getting those coins in, let me know. Set up, let me know what pairs that you want to see, and I'll get those queued up, and we'll get you in and out of here in about half an hour, and we'll get you back to your family. So, all right. We got Vaude checking in from the lost city of Atlantis. We have Scott's Garage in Dallas, Texas. Tejas. All right. God, it's been way too long since I've been in Texas. I miss Texas. That was a great time. It was part of my territory once upon a time.
All right. Cool.
Okay,
Let's
so
get things kicked off here.
Yeah, Mav, why don't you flex your muscles and show us what you got?
Well, I'm not going to do that, but As Doc mentioned, this will be our final stream of the year, and what a year it has been. So I thought it would be appropriate for us to kind of talk about some of the coins that we're watching, some of these breakout trends that we've kind of seen evolve over the year or kind of come into their own, and some of the standout coins, projects, tokens from those sorts of trends. We talk about this kind of stuff pretty often on these streams throughout this year. We've talked about things like NFTs, GameFi, DeFi really coming into its own, all these big crypto trends, things like metaverse, things like trying to break into the banking and finance and lending space, and the evolution of stable coins and things of this nature. This is what we've been talking about throughout this year. We've been using some of these lists of projects to kind of exemplify, like, here are some of the top gaming projects that we're watching right now, or here are some of the top NFT projects right now. And for better or worse, we've come across some really great projects, and some projects that really just help to define the next stage, next evolution of the crypto space, especially as things are just in flux right now. I think that's a good way to kind of sum up the years, that this has not been 2020 in terms of pure chaos. 2021 has been defined more by it. Yeah, it's transitory, maybe not in terms of inflation, but in terms of, just societal trends and the sort of technology that is at the forefront, helping to lead those trends. So getting into that, I want to talk about some of my top, we call them awarded projects, the ones that I think are standout winners in their respective categories, the respective trends, just regards to what I think is novel about them, what I think is really cool that they're doing. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's have a little bit of fun kind of recapping the year and talking about some great projects. So here is my list of projects I believe are kind of the winners for some of these categories that we've been talking about. So one of the big things that we've seen this year is the move towards beyond Ethereum 1.0, because Ethereum, for better or worse, even though it's been a great sort of ambassador of the space, going beyond Bitcoin, trying to help the space grow into new things like DeFi and NFTs. The unfortunate part about that is Ethereum is just super crowded right now, and it's not been able to keep up with the pace of change and the amount of adoption that it's seen. So this year in particular, we saw it absolutely just sputter to a stop with the rise of NFTs in terms of popularity. So that has really come, forefront in terms of Ethereum's competitors and who's going to be able to serve the greatest amount of applications and decentralized purposes in the fastest manner, who can eat Ethereum's lunch. So that's where we saw projects that embody layer 2 and scalability and interoperability really start to come to the forefront. That's where we saw standout winners like Polkadot and Solana and Avalanche and Terra and some of these other smart contract platforms that have really started to become the next evolution of beyond Ethereum. Now, of course, Ethereum's not dead by any means. It is going through a multi-year, very complicated upgrade process that they've basically been talking about since Ethereum first launched. But that's going to take time. And in the meantime, Ethereum's competitors are really going to start to make up ground. So that's where we see, either in terms of competition or those sorts of projects that are helping Ethereum get to the next level, those sorts of projects that are called like layer 2 solutions, projects like Matic or Polygon, that kind of are like the remora on the shark that is Ethereum. They're there to be kind of symbiotic, help each other out. And that's where Matic has really come into its own. It is a layer 2 solution that has helped people to get around those highly expensive gas fees and really start to open up possibilities that we want to see more of as we grow the space. We get to over those sorts of big hurdles that have held the space back in terms of adoption, in terms of just being able to get out there and see blockchain and crypto in the world. That's also where we see projects like Loopring starting to do things really interesting in terms of layer 2 rollups and being able to be a decentralized exchange that embodies a lot of these new projects that are starting to move beyond layer one. So yeah, CryptoCube, it's a great question. Is Polygon really a layer two? Yes and no. It's doing its own thing. It's enabling some of that offload of transactions and just traffic from the layer one highway of Ethereum. So yeah, it's more like a sidechain. That's a good point. But it kind of, to me, it embodies a lot of what layer two, the best of layer two. And I think it's really started to kind of define the next wave of what we're going to see a lot more of in 2022. So between projects like Loopring and Polygon, it's a really bright future ahead of us. I think there's a lot to like about where blockchain and crypto, the overall space is right now, because we're starting to overcome these things that have held blockchain and crypto back for the last 10 years and getting to the point where we're moving beyond not just the limits of blockchain technologies as we know them, but more moving into this brave new world of beyond starting to exceed the capabilities of centralized solutions like the Visa or PayPal's out there. So that's really exciting. Once we start to open up this whole new world of possibilities, things start to move very fast. And that's where we've seen projects that kind of embody that sort of next phase of things, projects that are doing things like NFTs or gaming or GameFi, if you want to call it that. That's where like projects like Yield Guild Games has been one of my favorites this year in terms of what I think is, sort of the embodiment of the play to earn economy, where people, let's say in third world countries, they can make more by basically playing some of these games like Axie Infinity than they can with their average jobs in their country. And that's something really exciting once you give them the tools that Yield Guild Games gives them. It basically is like an Uber in terms of it, is giving them the ability to go out and make money, but it's giving them the tools to do so because there's a high startup cost to playing a game like Axie Infinity. It's a couple $1,000s. So, giving them that, letting them, go out there making money and taking a little share of that, I think is brilliant. I think that's the embodiment of what we're going to see more of when metaverse and play to earn start to become more and more recognized and refined. So very exciting stuff. I think that's kind of the embodiment of what crypto adoption looks like right now. Another aspect of crypto has been in the evolution of both decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges. They've really taken over this year, both in terms of being able to be more accessible and being able to offer lots of really great features that make them a no-brainer, especially when you compare them to the legacy financial space. So for projects like Voyager, having the ability to earn 9% on USDC, having the ability to be able to spend crypto through a debit card, lots of these really great ways to see crypto starting to interface with the real world in ways that we haven't seen before, or ways that completely disrupt the legacy financial banking system. This is what we want to see more of. And that's why I love seeing this kind of come to fruition. And it just highlights how much more exciting it's going to be coming into the next couple of years. Projects like 1inch are also a really good evolution of getting past those limitations that have held us back. 1inch basically automatically routes you around a lot of these high fees and the gas transactions and things like that, giving you a lot of ability to really make more on your money. And I think it's the embodiment of sort of this next evolution of what decentralized exchanges should look like and what they should operate like. So that's why I love some of the innovations on display with some of these projects. Another kind of aspect of this space has definitely been the evolution of the smart contract platform itself. So just as we're talking about scalability and sort of the next evolution of things, the actual platforms themselves have come such a long way in terms of ability to handle lots of transactions, be a place where it's easy to develop and launch decentralized applications or decentralized, sort of purposes. And in the case of, projects like Algorand, it's starting to really embody a lot of the speed and accessibility that I think is going to dominate in 2022. Just the ability to launch your own app or NFT or any of this stuff is really, making that democratized, making that much more accessible, and having the proper funding and infrastructure in place to make stuff happen. That is something kind of that beyond Ethereum element. I think that's what we're going to see more of. So definitely going to be a really hot trend going into 2022. And that's where projects like Algorand are kind of the embodiment of that. However, it's a very neck and neck race right now. Just because I've picked Algorand for this does not mean that I don't see value in projects like Solana or Polkadot or, Avalanche. They're all awesome and they're all doing it in their own ways. And that's really cool to see. I've never seen this space so contested at sort of the fundamental sort of platform level like this. We used to, we were entertaining that back in 2017 when we saw Ethereum competitors like Neo and Cardano and these other ones coming to the forefront. But really, it's a whole other game in 2022. I think it's come a long way in just a short amount of time. So the last one I want to talk about is regards to meme coins, which, for better or worse, were the number one search topic in relation to crypto this year. A lot of people got into this space through elements such as Dogecoin or Shiba. And, we might want to maybe shake our heads at that a little bit. But at the same time, that's what adoption kind of looks like. Crypto is a lot of things for a lot of different kinds of people. So just because it doesn't gel with your worldview or what you think crypto is, doesn't mean that it doesn't have value or some sort of permanence. Yeah, it's a little bit laughable, but at the same time, that's where we have always been. That's what crypto has always been, is sort of this fringe element that challenges the norms. And if it doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. Just so long as it is out there and trying new things, that's what crypto is all about. So that's where we're seeing projects like Floki start to really come into its own as a competitor to Shiba and Doge. And yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this, but Floki is apparently Elon's dog's name. And yeah, I think it's got some potential to move. Is it my favorite project? I don't think so, but I think it's still something you should be watching going into 2022. So that is kind of at a high level, some of these really standout projects. Now, if you're paying attention, you might notice there's an omission of some of these categories, such as NFTs or GameFi, like DeFi, and just some of these other big standout categories in crypto right now. I'm going to include those in our Omnia newsletter, which you can get a part of down in the bio below. But honestly, guys, at this point, I think it's pretty clear that there's a lot of really good trends going into the next year. There's a lot of really good reasons to be in crypto, a lot of things to be excited about, a lot of things to be watching, and certainly a lot of reasons not to be down in the dumps right now just because Bitcoin's under 50K, just because Ethereum is hovering around 4K. Just rewind the clock a year and that should give you all the perspective you need to say, yeah, this space, sometimes it goes through these little valleys, but overall the trend, the larger macro trend is intact. We're continuing to see innovation. We're continuing to see reasons why this space is a hedge against so many different other things out there, especially in terms of the big macro picture. And this space embodies what I think is going to help us get through 2022, which is being contrarian to the inflation narrative, being contrarian to, this doubling down of centralization, and being contrarian to this, perspective that like, oh yeah, everything's going to hell. The world is so terrible right now. No, why would you invest in anything if you believed everything was going in hell? I think this space represents a fresh take on both innovation and, it helps you provide hope. It helps you to have, something to hold on to for the future that you might not get out of some of the traditional markets. So I think it's definitely something that we have to remind ourselves going into the next year when we see the big, scary headlines. This is what crypto is about, is giving us an alternative to the existing status quo and letting us define the future in a more tangible way. So that is my top cryptos for 2021. I hope you took something out of that. And as always, thank you so much for paying attention and being a part of this, because crypto is constantly being redefined. We're constantly trying to look ahead, but it's something that every day something else is happening. So it's hard to stay in front of. And that's why it's so important to be a part of the community, be subscribed to a channel like this, where we're talking about things as they really are, rather than, doubling down on emotions or anything like that. So kind of a nice segue into, Doc, what are you seeing from sort of the technical perspective? And let's talk about some of the tickers that people have been throwing up in chat.
All right, here we go. Everything's made sense so far, but this is where we completely lose control of the session. So here we go. Into the charts, we're going to take a look here, and let's make sure everything's good. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Bitcoin versus the US dollar. And this is on the weekly chart. And somebody was asking before, is this thing going to crash when it gets to 56K? Well, first of all, what I want to make sure happens is we stay above 40. As long as we stay above 40K, the primary trend is still to the upside, and that's still good, okay? But what if we do start to see BTC rise up? So the polarity is still to the upside right now, but there is something that I've been noticing, and it probably is going to be somewhere around 56K or so. We could get a nice rally started here, and then what happens if it rolls over? Those of you that understand chart patterns will see this as the head with shoulders pattern. And what that's going to do is potentially the measured move of that would be essentially the same distance as here to here, and that's going to bring us down to 20K again. Now, again, I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm thinking that's not going to happen, but I'm prepared for it. This is what I want you to be prepared for, is if we do rally up here, watch very carefully for how the price handles this movement here. It's going to be about 50% of this drop here is where we're going to start to look for problems. And this is where price can move very, very quickly, because you have too many people on the wrong side of the boat, all leaning over the wrong side, and then the wind comes over, shifts the boom, knocks them all overboard. I've seen it happen 1,000 times, right? So watch this area. If we're able to bounce back up again on BTC, this is going to be absolutely key. And you're going to hear me pounding on the floor about this sort of thing to watch out. And so this is going to be a key level to understand. Okay, so that is just the weekly chart. I'm going to go over to the daily chart here very quickly. This is rule number 3 of fractal energy trading. Descending patterns break to the upside. So eventually, this is going to break to the upside, or could break to the downside. We don't know which way it is, although yesterday was a good start for an upside break. We don't know if it's going to stay. Looking at the energies of this chart is just about ready to pop. That is almost a fuel gauge, if you will. Range contraction like this leads to range expansion. It's going to go one way or the other. It would make sense for it to go back up and descending patterns break to the upside. However, if too many people are leaning in that direction, the market will take the time to go back down and toss them all off before it rallies back up again. So just be aware of that. Make your decision based around how this box operates. If it breaks out to the upside, great. We're probably going to be long for at least a couple of weeks here. If it breaks to the downside, this is where things will be interesting. All right, so that's just a quick overview of what's happening with Bitcoin, the big dog. I'm going to look at Ethereum here. Ethereum also has a massive amount of energy. It's actually in much better technical shape. This has been a very gentle consolidation. This is almost a bull flag if we look over at the weekly chart. So I would say technically Ethereum is superior in terms of its ability to hold support and not dive, go dumpster diving in terms of the price right now. So those are kind of the top two. What I'd like to do is to go back into some of the requests that you guys have made already. And one of them is, we get this request every week, and that's about the best I can do, is to cover this wrapped Ether token here on QANX. But this is a potential change in polarity to the upside. What's happened here is we have higher low, higher high combination. This is a change in polarity to the upside. So that's all good. I would like to see a lot more volume in here. I'm not seeing much volume to drive this move. That makes this somewhat suspect. This could turn into a lower high. So you want to see volume driving up and baking the bears at this point for QANX. Okay, next one that I have here is H-bar. And this is Hedera hash graph. We're just going to look at this on Binance. That's fine. Not a bad looking chart. It's okay. It's just kind of a big, this thing has really no technical trend right now. And that's kind of an issue. It did up until this point. This could be a lower high. Watch out for this dropping back down and retesting this. The best scenario here would be as if it drops partway, creates a higher low, and then transitions back up into an uptrend. So that's Hedera hash graph. Now, next one is AVAX. And I'm just going to pronounce it based on I don't care about the project itself. All I care about is the ticker. So if I mispronounce your project, it's nothing personal. Okay, this is one of the better looking charts that are out there. This has got a great trend. We have higher highs and higher lows. The swing test, here's the swing test. This is what, think about it this way. You're banging your head on the ceiling. You come back down and eventually you try to bang your head on the ceiling and you bang on it so hard you jump up to the next floor and you come back down onto the floor. That is what's called a swing test there. I love it. This is technically one of the very best charts that's out there in crypto right now. That is AVAX versus the US dollar. Next one here is HEX. And this one again is kind of it's a little bit of a challenge. On Uniswap, this is about the only way I can look at this. Rule number 3 says that descending patterns will eventually break to the upside. It did that a couple weeks ago. So we've got this move to the upside, and it's also above the most recent lower high. So it's definitely changing polarity back up to an uptrend. So any drop, any pullback at this level should be bought. This is more than likely going to generate a higher low and a change in polarity to an uptrend. So that all looks pretty good. We're starting to see some positive, constructive chart patterns now, finally. Okay, Luna. And this is, boy, I take this back. I was saying that AVAX was the strongest chart out here. Luna is probably the strongest right now. Super strong. However, keep in mind that this is a shooting star candlestick and can sometimes mark the top. There's no such thing as a one candle reversal pattern. These always must be confirmed, but this is perhaps showing that the bulls are running out of steam and the bears are starting to grab control. So this is a place where you never chase after something going like this. You always tell your dog that. Don't chase after cars. You're just going to, smack into the back end of them. This is the same thing. Don't chase after a chart going like this. Let me teach you how to get into one of these pullbacks, right? This is the way you get into something like this. So you're in for most of this move. Don't chase after that. All right, next one here is ELEN. Okay, and again, we're just going to look at the Uniswap here, and this is tough. I don't have much to go on. Elena USD. Let's see if there's a different one here. No, that's all I've got. I really don't have anything to chart this with. This is chartless, unchartable at this point. Okay, OMI. We're going to look at OMI USDT perpetual futures. Not a bad looking chart. Just going through a big deal of consolidation right now. This is very similar to what Ethereum is going through. This is a weekly bull flag. This is a consolidation pattern, which is generally fairly bullish. You can see that it's met the swing test at that level. So that's all good. It's just not going anywhere right now. It's in consolidation. If you run up the side of a mountain, you're eventually going to run out of breath. You're going to get a stitch in your side. You're going to wait until it goes away, and then you can resume the hunt. Okay, so next one I've got here is Gala. And this is a chart in a primary downtrend, unfortunately. This is a primary downtrend. I would wait until we see the price breaking through this trend line. What is low can go lower. Don't assume that just because something is low, it's a great value, because it can go lower. Buy things that are heading higher in price. And actually, that is the last one I had on the list here. I'm going to see if there's any other ones here. QRDO. Let's see, QRDO. Just go through another couple of ones here, if I can find them. QRDO versus the dollar. Let's try this on Bitfinex. Okay, so this is another one here. This is the very beginning of an uptrend. We have a descending pattern here, which is now, as of today, broken out. Now, this is still a lower high, and the volume is not fantastic, but this could be getting somewhere. What I would be looking for is for this to do something like this and then drive higher from there. So setting up a higher low would be the key towards getting back on at this point. So not necessarily a big fan of just jumping on board here, especially the day after the break. Okay, all right, so that's QRDO. Theta, my thoughts on Theta. Oops, let's try this again one more time with meaning. Okay, Theta is not a particularly great chart. There's a lot of charts in crypto that look exactly like this. They're just kind of stumbling, bumbling, rumbling down through the gutter, and they don't have any particular uptrend. You can see this a lot better if you go out to something like a weekly chart. This is not an uptrend. This is not an asset which is accumulating in price. This is not attracting buyers. That is not my judgment. This is not any kind of shade that I'm throwing on your project. This is what the market thinks about the forward growth prospects of this specific coin, right? So it's not what I think about it. This is not a great pattern. I would wait until this reverses back up to the upside. Let's see, what else do we get here? That's current thoughts on Theta for Scott's Garage and Tejas. And let's see, Mikey Brown wants to go through EWT. Let's see if we can find some earth, wind, and fire here. Okay, EWT versus the US dollar. This is going nowhere. This is just coiling up, just a very noisy chart. Again, that's not my view. That's not my judgment of the project. That is what's going on with the price. That's it. Okay. That is EWT. A couple more here. Let's see, QRDO. We already did that one. RNDR. Okay, this one has not been around for very long. RNDR. You can see that this one was also in former downtrend, now becoming an uptrend. So this is all good. This is showing a changing polarity from lower highs and lower lows into higher highs. And what I would like to see from this one is some type of significant higher low and then change in polarity back up to the upside again. And that would show that this is not just a lower high, which is going to roll over. So this is part of the structure that price action takes to move. Okay, let's see. ADA BTC, which is Cardano, BTC, ADA, BTC. Let's go with that one. Cardano Bitcoin is no bueno, no bueno. This is a chart which is in a weekly downtrend. This is not good. This particular asset pair. So if you're ADA versus BTC, what that means is that you're long Cardano and you're short Bitcoin. Okay, that's a tough trade right now. Cardano versus Bitcoin, you're on the wrong side of that pair. Next one here we have, let's see, Ray. That sounds like a barbecue. All right, we'll try this one. Ray, or just Ray, is in a primary downtrend. This is a lower high and a lower low. This is on the avoid list for right now. Wait until this one starts to trend to the upside. Okay, O&E. God, I have not looked at this one in a while, and we'll finish out here just about this is Harmony. Harmony. Let's see what's going on with Harmony. Okay, so we do have an uptrend with Harmony. Harmony, higher lows, higher highs. This is a higher low. Be careful here. Be careful. Ooh, where did that come from? Okay, so this could be a lower high, lower low, or this could break out and continue going on like this. So what I want you to do is use this as a decision box here. If it breaks out to the upside, great. Above 25, 27 cents. If it breaks down from here, leaving a lower high, this is on the avoid list. So this one is very close to a tipping point, could go either way. And that is O&E. And the final one that I will do for this evening is UBT, which is Unibright, versus the US dollar. Okay, this one was formerly in an uptrend, and this one is losing the swing test. It's starting to, if you were going to put a MACD on this thing, it would start to, fall over like this, right? So this one is kind of starting to lose a lot of momentum on Unibright versus the US dollar. Okay. Okay, guys, that's what I got. That's the list of assets tonight. Again, if I threw shade upon your coin, don't take it personally. That is just what the market feels about what we're seeing with the coin. It's not my own personal opinion. I actually have no personal opinion on any of this stuff. I let the price do the talking for me. So there we go. Mav, do you have any final thoughts for tonight or any follow-up questions and answers?
Yeah, so I would encourage you guys, especially if you got some time off with the holidays, to consider, ending your year with a beginning and getting into some of the sales that we're having on some of our very high quality crypto and trading education services. They're all down in the bio below. If you want to learn how to trade the markets more effectively, that's what ReadySetTrade exists for. It's Doc's bread and butter, as he's been demonstrating for the last couple of minutes here. And yeah, if you want to learn about how to trade the market, the crypto markets more effectively, that's what ReadySetCrypto is all about. And that's what our brand new service, ReadySet Vision, is all about. Again, those links are in the bio below. And if nothing else, join our free Discord where we're just talking about crypto and trading and what's going on from the macro perspective all the time. It's just a great place to get resources and education and be among fellow traders and investors who are, concerned and focused on quality, not shilling, not, chasing a pump or anything like that. We're all about making sure that you are staying as rational as possible in a market and in, an economy, in a larger trend sort of place where everything's just volatile and crazy. We're trying to be the sort of like semblance of just calm and that island of solace,
We're trying to be the grown-ups in the room. That's really what we're doing here.
So we've been doing this for years now, and that's what we want to provide for the crypto space and for you in particular. So if that's at all interesting, definitely check out some of our services where, that helps us keep this going. But at the same time, we want to give back, 10 times as much as you give us. We want to make sure that you're like, are you really giving this away for this? We want that to go through your head, especially with our, holiday sales going on right now. It's never been a better time to get started with this stuff. So again, it's all down in the bio below. Get started with that. But if nothing else, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the year. Spend some time, really do some reflection on this year, what you've seen, where the trends have gone, and where that's going to take you into the next year. Really take some time to think about that. And that's where we're hoping to help you. But if nothing else, take some time, step away from the markets and, use this time to make some moves and some planning that's going to set you up for when the market does rebound, when we go into the next year, when things get hot again, that you're well positioned, you're ready, to use the name of our channel here, to hit that going. And that's going to be so exciting. So if nothing else, thank you so much for hanging out with us here. We're very excited for next year. I think it's going to be very momentous, and there's going to be a lot going on, but there's a lot of uncertainty too. So that's what we're here to do, help you dispel some of that, help you stay rational, trade dispassionately, and just navigate these markets. So that's all we got. Doc, you got anything else?
No, Merry Christmas, everybody. You guys, have some great time with your family and friends and everything like that. Take a moment to chill and realize that, there is always tomorrow. So pick up a skill, and we'll see you guys at the very first week next year.
Cheers, guys. Happy New Year's.
See everybody. Be good.